When she said you need a good mechanic, didn't she mean just in your Rolodex, not in your bed?
Thanksgiving, he was at my house. I made a joke to him, like, what would you do if I got pregnant? Just joking, because my wife would divorce me. A wife?
Oh, wait a minute now, Mr. Little. Now you had a wife this whole time?
Well,
did you have unprotected sex
one time,
with
Your
Miss
Honor.
Stone?
It was not one time.
And that was in the threesome.
Then I realized he said in a threesome. I don't know which one caught me by surprise more. So you didn't use protection in a threesome with Miss Rogers and another...
The other girl was my girlfriend.
What?
Ms. Rogers has been sleeping around with Mr. Stone's friends. Today's case is the proper definition of trouble in paradise for two lovebirds. These two met in elementary school. You heard that right, and have been hitting it off amidst some drama.
Ms. Rogers, you say after an encounter with your elementary school sweetheart, you ended up pregnant. You say the defendant has gone through great lengths to deny he is the father of your son, Christian.
Now, why are we even here? This is paternity court, where people go to find out if the man in question is the father of the baby or not. Here, where is the doubt? These two have sex each time they hang out. Or is Ms. Rogers lying about being with just one man? And how old are these two again?
That house, she was at one of my friends' house. And when I walked in, she was already hugged up with one of my friends.
I was not hooked up with nobody. When he walked in the door, I was sitting at the table.
On his lap.
I was not on nobody's lap. When he came in the door, I was sitting at the table. The friend that he was talking about was in the kitchen. I was not sitting on nobody's lap.
Oh, so this is where the problem lies? Mr. Stone believes that the condom solves everyone's problems. You see, Mr. Stone, condoms break sometimes. Not sure what they teach you in sex ed, but that's what happens and babies are conceived, Mr. Stone.
Have unprotected sex
one time,
with
Your
Miss
Honor.
Stone?
It was not one time.
And that was in the threesome.
It was not one time. It was
in the where?
And the threesome between me and her.
We had a threesome. The night I found out that he had a girlfriend, we had a threesome.
Jerome, at first I thought he said in the freezer.
They had a what? With who? They had a threesome the night she found out he had a girlfriend. That same night. So what? She had no plans to be in a committed relationship with him anyway. Everything she said about not being on his friend's lap, was all of that a lie too? How did she agree to a threesome with him and his girlfriend?
Okay, Mr. Stone.
Yes.
And you all basically compared notes?
No, what happened was that
all lying together.
I told him, like, I knew Destiny for a while, you feel me? So I was like, you talked to her? He like, yeah, I talked to her. We did this, we did that. So I'm like, oh, really? You feel me? So I'm like, when was this?
Whoa. Okay, Ms. Rogers. About 4 boys decided to sit down to compare notes of girls they've slept with, and your name just happened to be in all of their notes? And there was no one else? Not a single person? Roger that.
I was not sitting on his lap or nothing. When he came, we all went in the basement because the boys was playing the games and we were talking, we was catching up. I went and told my friend, I'm like, because she didn't know I know him. Nobody in the house knew I knew him before he walked in that house.
Well, okay. If you say so, Ms. Rogers, we're all just going to have to keep taking your word for it. If there was no doubt, then we have no reason to be here then. After all of this long talk and drama, this baby had better be Mr. Stone's.
Listen, Ms. Rogers, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I mean, even if you were sitting on the friend's lap or you weren't, at the end of the night, you were sitting on Mr. Stone's. The facts surrounding this situation. How'd you find out you were pregnant?
Whoa. What? Oh my goodness. This case just keeps getting worse by the minute. She has twins, then had this baby months ago, and she's currently 18. So how old was this young girl when she was pregnant with the twins? How is she already a mother and is so casual about having sex with these men that have no plans for their lives?
Scared. I was scared. I really was, because it was like another baby. So I called him and told him I was pregnant.
We never had that conversation.
No.
Not once.
What
happened was, this particular day, I was in the car with one of my friends. They pulled up on me, and he said he had to go pick his girl up and her, which is her best friend. We get to them.
Oh my. Well, okay. If that's not what happened, why not tell us what happened, Ms. Rogers? How is the young man going to just narrated a fake scenario from his head like that? What do you mean it didn't happen? Now, who are we supposed to believe and who is lying to the court?
So you're saying you did tell him to his face?
No, I was on the phone with him.
On the phone, and you say, Mr. Stone, you heard it from somebody else.
My friends called me first.
He didn't hurt
All right.
somebody else.
So I don't think they've agreed on one point today, Jerome. I mean, not one thing. It's as if you all were in 2 different galaxies and somehow ended up with a potential child.
Well, this has been a long day. It's so bothersome that there is a baby here in court today conceived by 2 18-year-olds. It is also so wild that they really have not been in sync all day. So now, who is lying to who? What a duo, really. The one way to get to the bottom of this is getting the results.
Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
Told you I ain't got lying about nothing. I know what I did. I paid for extra.
It's cool.
Not cool. Child.
It is
it's
cool.
not-
You proved it you wanted to. You proved that I'm such the whore that you think I am. You proved it.
We just found out that Ms. Clifton has not one, but two men fighting over the paternity of her twins. Mr. Little is in court to prove that he's not the father after generously footing the bill for 4 months before discovering the truth. You can bet he's not too happy about how things have unfolded.
When she said you need a good mechanic, didn't she mean just in your Rolodex, not in your bed?
Yes, in my Rolodex. But it takes two. I didn't proposition him for sex. It takes two. Now, we engaged together, but upon dealing with this man, he awesome to me. He was a good man. He was about his business. I was like,
Oh, what a mess. Turns out Mr. Little has a whole wife at home. Still, that didn't stop him from messing around with his clients. Maybe, just maybe, he should have stuck to fixing their cars and nothing more. Ms. Clifton started this whole situation with a joke, but look who's laughing now. She's the one who ended up pregnant. That conversation definitely blew up in her face, and now here we are with two men fighting over paternity.
we separated for about 2 years. I had started dating someone else. At the time, he had did some work on my car that it was costly. It was a lot. I said, baby, I'm hurting right now. I said, this is all I got. This is all I got. I said, matter of fact, my exact words is, I really need to keep my money. And he looked at me and he was like, well, you know what time it is.
Oh, Mr. Little, what are you doing? Looks like he's got more than one business going, running a little side hustle where he's both the car mechanic and, well, the service himself. Collecting sex in exchange for car repairs? That's crazy, sir. Ms. Clifton thought she was just getting her car fixed, but honey, she ended up leaving the shop with a lot more than an oil change. She left pregnant.
I get a random text from her texting this other guy about how much she loved him, cared for him, want to be with him, and I appreciate everything you do for the kids. And I'm like, wow.
It came to you.
The text came to me that she was sending to another guy with his.
Well, well, well. Looks like Mr. Little got a rude awakening with that text. After all the time and energy he put into caring for the twins, only to find out it was all a mistake, that struck a nerve for sure. He thought he was doing the right thing, taking responsibility, but now he's left with more questions than answers.
The man could be the father of the
Okay,
twins.
she sent me a text one night. She said the kids have no Pampers, no milk. I leave my shop, go to Walmart, buy a big box of Pampers
50 packs.
and 2 big containers of milk.
Now, that one doesn't sound good, Ms. Clifton. How do you expect Mr. Little to walk into your house and see another man around the kids you claim are his without asking you any questions? You can't just throw out those mixed signals and expect him to play along without a second thought.
Not to use him, but to get some help from him. I might reach out to you, Judge, if we ain't got nothing. I'm gonna reach out to the game. If my kids need something, I'm reaching
And
out.
when you reach out to me,
It's a
you
yes
will
or
hear
no.
me say, don't have no kids you can't afford to take care of.
Absolutely.
That's why if you reach out to me, you're gonna get the real truth.
Judge Lake really laid it all out there this time. She took Ms. Clifton to school and didn't hold back. Everything we were all thinking, she said straight to her face. Ms. Clifton went on Facebook and reached out to a man she knew wouldn't let her down. But now she's trying to use the fact that he's handicapped as an excuse, claiming they didn't have sex. Seriously, Ms. Clifton, Judge Lake wasn't buying it, and neither are we.
You know, I taught my daughter to be self-sufficient. And if one won't, the other one will. When he stopped doing what he was gonna do, he left her and I to do what we are duty-bound to do, and that's raise them beautiful twins. And his whole long head, no,
I've
them his children.
always taken
So
care
what
of my
you're
twins.
saying is because he got jealous that
No,
she
Your
was
Honor.
dating other people.
What an interesting turn. Jealousy made him stop, huh? Well, I don't exactly blame the guy. He has been doubting the paternity of the kids since day one. It feels like he is seeing through her lies, if anything, especially since their mother is around so many men so often.
Jerome,
I
let me see
incurred
those.
3 infections at the hospital having his kids. I almost lost my life. I had to be in the hospital for a week. Mr. Little came and got me out my sick bed and said my children have to have my last name, especially my boys.
I just need to ask you this.
Now, we've finally arrived at the moment of truth. After all the back and forth, it's time to hear the results. Has Ms. Clifton been telling the truth this whole time? Or is there yet another man lurking in the background we haven't even heard about?
Mr. Little,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are not.
Not.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I actually thought they were.
Talk about a jaw-dropping plot twist. So, who is the father of these beautiful babies? Even Ms. Clifton's own mother was so shocked, she couldn't stop clapping. All this time, Ms. Clifton has been running her mouth, fully expecting Mr. Little to keep stepping up like nothing was wrong. And now, it turns out he's not the father. What a lying, sneaky woman.
But I will say this to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty only goes so far.
And thank God
In
I don't
life.
use my, thank God I don't
And
use my looks.
listen, no,
Thank God I don't
no,
use my
no.
looks.
You told me that you have been using it, but what I want you to do is use it the right way.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hawthorne is a liar that would do and say anything to start a family with Mr. Brown, or that's what Mr. Brown tells the court today. These two high school sweethearts had a baby together 3 years ago. Now, Mr. Brown says there's no way.
Hawthorne, why do you say Mr. Brown is a deadbeat?
He doesn't do anything for Chase. He doesn't come see him, anything.
And that makes you so angry.
Yes.
Because you feel like
Because-
he's not honoring his responsibility.
Right. And plus, I grew up without a father.
Oh, look at that. This man really does think he is the chosen one. On the contrary, Ms. Hawthorne claims that he is a deadbeat and he never shows up for her or baby Chase. Now, who is lying to themselves here? What brought these two together in the first place?
And you say everything was going fine.
Yes.
Until
Until he
what?
started cheating.
You started cheating, Mr. Brown?
Well, Your Honor, we was living in two different parts of the city. So she was living in the suburbs and I was living in the city.
What a guy. Now he's trying to justify his cheating with long distance? How about people serving the fatherland with their boyfriends at home? Are they supposed to automatically cheat too? There's such a thing as commitment, Mr. Brown.
So listen, Chase is 2 years old. So clearly it did go on and on past one sexual encounter because you wouldn't be a potential father had you not continued to have sex with her. Chase is only 2.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure. The one-time card. They only had sex one time. Oh, stop it, Mr. Brown. Even if Chase wasn't 2 years old already and it was one time you had sex, it is definitely more than enough. Who knows if there was protection too? This man really came to paternity court to announce that it was just one time.
It's pretty much leaving my significant other. I was coming over to talk to Bria about us not seeing each other anymore. So we was in the car and we ended up getting into a heated moment and both of us started kissing and ended up having sex in the back.
Whoa, 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 hold up. How does a conversation about breaking up end up becoming a heated moment where babies have the possibility of being made? What a pair. So, now is he with her or is he with the other woman? These questions need answers.
Your Honor, I pleased her and I didn't finish, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's a complete
Oh,
lie.
you're saying you didn't
complete
finish
lie.
the act. And so therefore you can't be Chase's biological father.
Oh, Mr. Brown, I see that this man remembers everything so well. How is he so vivid with all his memories even years after? This entire thing is just wild. To think that we all have to go through this, listening to all of this, just to hear their case of there not being a baby all these years ago.
Came there and had sex with Miss Hawthorne. She told you she wasn't on birth control. You did it anyway because you didn't have no self-control and you weren't prepared and you was over there having your cake, eating it too, baking another one and getting the ingredients for a third. I know how this works.
What exactly is Mr. Brown's plan? Was he trying to have twins on purpose? From 2 different women too? What is all of this information about being with his girlfriend right before he was with Miss Hawthorne? This man went on to say that she was not on birth control, so he did not finish. Unbelievable.
Child was about to come into the world.
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after. I wanted to make sure everything was good with Chase after
Your Honor.
giving birth and everything.
Then why wouldn't you let him know that his baby was coming if you knew it was his baby?
Whoops! And that is the beginning of one lie. Did she really let him know about any of it a day after? Because really, if she did, why not just keep him up to date with the entire process then? Did you really come back to him because the father of the boy didn't want anything to do with the baby? Now this is getting even more dramatic than before.
Okay, so you trapped yourself in the backseat of the car when you really should have come and broke up with her, but instead you decide to have sex with her. When you in simple mode, you get simple results. You went over there and you had sex, now you could be the father. Next point.
Okay, so if
Oh, look at him go. Judge Lake is so spot on for that comment too. What do you mean you feel trapped? before the baby was born, while you were sleeping around with various women. How come you didn't feel trapped, Mr. Brown? Before this trapped man says another word, let's wrap this up and see the results.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
Is that a joke?
No.
Oh, boy.
The DNA does not lie and it does not joke.
Mr. Bell is in court to dodge responsibility. He cut all ties with Ms. Cousin and her mother just to deny that the baby is his. Isn't that something? In fact, he's so insistent that he's not the father, he went completely off the radar, making sure he was unreachable. Ms. Cousinal and her mother aren't about to let him off the hook that easily.
He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship. Right. When she started being with him, you came to a relative house to pick her up one weekend with her bag.
Mr. Bell, hold on.
And you took her with you. You had your cousin in the car. You greet me. You hugged me.
What a two-timing liar Mr. Bell is. He doesn't even want Ms. Cousin to finish a single sentence. He's doing everything to shut her down. Things are really heating up in that courtroom. Ms. Cousin's irritation is palpable, and you can tell she's been holding on to this frustration for far too long. She's got so much to unload on this man, and now the floodgates have opened.
Every time I go out to get lunch, he right behind me. What you eating for lunch? Can you buy me something? Meet me downtown. Tell me I cannot pay his phone bill every time I get paid.
When she should have been.
Were you paying his phone bill?
Yes. While she was paying his phone bill and paying him, buying him lunch, I was also doing other things for me and my husband have a roof over our head.
Look at Ms. Cousin go off. Mr. Bell, how on earth is a woman you're not even married to paying your phone bills and feeding you every time you're out? This man is a textbook manipulator. He's out here living the high life on Ms. Cousin's dime, never once returning the favor. If he's been pulling this stunt every single time, it's no wonder she's reached her breaking point.
Were you flirting with her at work?
Yeah.
You had sex with...
In a car.
Oh, okay, so you had sex in a car. Did you use protection?
Yes.
No lie.
See the tears in your eyes. What are you feeling right now?
Because he lied. No, he lied. Why would you lie on me for no reason?
Because he felt your weakness.
Oh, Mr. Bell is not about to let this one slide. Mr. Bell is sitting there blatantly lying in court, even though he had the audacity to bring his baby mama along for backup. Like, really? He already admitted to flirting with this woman at work and having sex with her in a car? So why deny the rest of it now, Mr. Bell? The truth is practically dripping off the table, yet here he is, trying to weasel out of the mess he's made.
Her and told her that it's not mine. The first thing, I don't want no baby by you anyway.
Wait, I don't want a baby by you anyway is different from the baby is not yours. Which did she say?
Both.
Why you lying?
Real
Boy, you
lie.
don't do that but lie.
Man,
It's
just give me the
lying.
result, man, so I go on my...
Looks like we're not getting an ounce of truth out of Mr. Bell today. What's this guy's deal? He's changing his story on the fly, twisting every detail to fit his narrative. Now he's claiming he can't even remember what Ms. Cousin said to him accurately? Convenient, right? With every question, his story shifts a little more. It's like watching a bad soap opera unfold.
Bill.
I was pregnant with our second daughter, and I guess you could say a mutual friend happened to recognize Cortez on her page, like for his pictures and stuff like that. And he asked if Cortez and I were still together, and I was just like, you know, of course. So he gave me her name or whatever. I searched for her on Instagram. Of course, I'm gonna search.
Oh, poor girl. You're really buying into that? Honey, let me tell you something. If your man were 100% clean, there's no way you'd ever stumble upon a page where another woman is posting his picture talking about how much she loves him. That kind of thing doesn't even exist in a faithful relationship. If it's out there, that's your red flag waving in the wind.
We slept together 3 times, unprotected, and he know that.
Where'd you all go?
We'll go anywhere.
Where we went? Where did we go?
In the car, it don't matter.
Where did we go?
And we went
Since
to the
was on
club
a
with
date.
your cousin them. You know that.
So what you're saying is you all would go out or have sex, but he'd always leave.
Yes.
Whoa, whoa. Mr. Bell is in full denial mode now, huh? What's next? He's going to deny they ever had sex at all? Or better yet, pretend they've never even met. The man is spinning every lie he can think of, and his girlfriend is right there supporting him through it all.
Mr. Bell, I'm getting tired of your side talking, because I'm going to tell you what it looks like. Every time they go to testify, you talking over them, and the only thing it looks like to me is that you don't want me to hear what they're saying because they're telling the truth. I'm about tired of this little attitude you got, because you got a nice girl. But you over there sniffing up at this little girl at work, letting her buy you food and pay your phone bill. Now you here in this courtroom. Don't be mad at nobody but yourself, baby.
Finally, she's saying what we're all thinking. Mr. Bell, you're not fooling anyone with your lies or manipulative tactics. No one's buying it. Just let the women speak without your annoying side comments, because they gave you the same courtesy when you gave your statement.
He told me that he came over there. That's when she messaged me on Facebook. And when I asked him, he told me no. And then when I hear that something about a truck, he doesn't have a truck, so if he stays with me, I know exactly what he has.
It was an Impala.
Yeah. If it was a truck, she said a truck.
Well,
She didn't know. How many Impala trucks do you know?
Well, does he have an Impala, Miss King?
My father has one.
So he driving your daddy car to our house. Ain't that so, sweetie?
I'ma stop.
Oh, now he's really gone and done it. Mr. Bell is denying he even went to her mom's house with both Ms. Cousin and her mother right there. The lies just keep coming and it's getting exhausting. Hopefully Judge Lake can wrap this up quick. The DNA results are in and we're about to find out the truth.
Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. You got two innocent women standing here.
Both of them crying.
Sad and hard.
And you got your hands
played the
behind your
game.
back and your body language is saying you could care less.
About her?
18-year-old Tyanna Others is absolutely taken aback. Her dad's out here claiming she's not even his. He's throwing shade at her mom, calling her a compulsive liar, and straight up denying Tyanna's his daughter. Really? After 18 years?
Because all I known him as my father growing up.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I gotta interject because not once in her 18 years have I ever denied her. Not once.
But you're denying her today. You're
I've
saying that
never
you may
denied her.
not be her father.
That is correct. Because of being deceived by her mother. When my daughter was about 2 years old, she and I became intimate again, and she wound up pregnant. So of course I'm being excited. I'm there for her.
Oh, so there's another guy involved? No wonder Mr. Bell's flipping the script on Tyanna now. If there was another baby after her that wasn't his, even though he and Ms. Others were supposedly all lovey-dovey, that clearly did a number on him. But seriously, why is he bringing this drama up now? A whole 16 years after finding out. Talk about holding a grudge.
It's too much. $300, $400, I couldn't afford that.
Miss Others, your entire life, this has been your father.
Yes.
You were made aware that potentially he may not be your father.
Your Honor, I was at McDonald's and he met me up at McDonald's. That's when he said he wants a paternity test, and I agreed to it, but it never happened.
So wait, you up at McDonald's when you just up there like a normal teenager, and here comes your father.
Imagine getting hit with this kind of bombshell at 18. Talk about a disaster. Tyanna must have been drowning in confusion and pain, especially as a teenager already dealing with wild hormones and angsty chaos. Can you even imagine the emotional roller coaster? No wonder she was dazed and totally out of it at McDonald's that day. What a mess.
I was hurt. I was really hurt. But at the end of the day, still, he hasn't been there for me.
I've been there for her. And I don't know what she's talking about. I haven't been there for her.
No, you have not.
You admit this McDonald's day happened?
Probably.
Probably.
Can't recall that. I don't recall that.
Hold up, why lie? How's he gonna say he doesn't remember? Like, seriously? You can't just forget something that huge. And Mr. Bell, honey, when someone says you haven't been there, newsflash, you weren't there. What's he trying to pull here? Gaslight Tyanna into thinking he was some great dad? Oh, please, take several seats.
He also knew that there was a possibility that there was another man involved.
That is not true.
Yes, it
That
is,
is
Your
not
Honor.
true.
Yes, it is.
No.
So
yes, it is.
When both men
That's
were at the house after the baby was born, it was no big thing to you because you had already told both
I
of them.
told both of them that it's a possibility it could be Kevin, and a possibility it could be the other dude, and that's why I got the paternity test done.
Oh well, Mr. Bell keeps insisting. Pretty sure that if Ms. Others had such a glorious narration of everything that happened and how it happened, it just may have happened, Mr. Bell. Nobody could possibly have such a narrative if it didn't happen.
I tried to bond with the baby, with the little boy, and when I found out that he wasn't my grandson, I was very devastated. I was very devastated.
So you're saying this entire situation with the little boy where he feels like your son felt like he was lied to.
Yes.
Whoa there, Ms. McKnight, pump the brakes. This woman was absolutely crushed when she found out that her grandson might not be hers. But hold up, Ms. Others says Mr. Bell knew there was always a chance that kid wasn't his. In fact, she swears she told him about it years ago. So why is he acting all brand new now? Let's not rewrite history, Mr. Bell.
Your Honor, I've been at my residence for 33 years. They move around a lot. I never knew their phone number. They never came around to see me. Nothing. So what am I, and they move around so much?
So are you saying you have not been a part of her life?
No, she has not, Your Honor.
No, I
only
haven't.
because she is very disrespectful.
Oh.
She goes around
I'm
talking
disrespectful?
about everybody, including her son.
I'm your grandmother. You're supposed to respect me.
No,
okay?
no, if you're not, if
okay?
you don't show
I'm
me
your
respect,
grandmother.
I'm
You're
not gonna
supposed to
show you
respect me.
respect.
Oh snap, Tyanna. Did not see that one coming. She just straight up called her grandmother disrespectful, and let me tell you, Judge Lake's face says it all. This girl is about to catch some heat real quick. Buckle up because things are about to get real messy.
And I see them downtown. And I'm all happy seeing them like, hey, her mother touches her stomach. And I'm like, we touching her stomach for? She was like, she can tell you. I was like, what, are you pregnant? So she was like, oh yeah, well, yeah. A couple days later, she comes down to my job with a baby in her hand. And I'm like, whose baby is this?
Okay.
And she's like,
no.
I'm like, tell me this is not your baby.
Wait, what? Tyanna's got a baby? How old is she again? This story just keeps getting crazier by the minute. Now there's talk about her using her dad for money? At this point, nobody knows who's telling the truth anymore. But one thing for sure that won't lie, the paternity test results. We're about to spill all the tea.
That is really bothering me, and I'm gonna look at your mother too. Is you have no respect for older people. You have no respect for your elders. Now, in my world, back in the day, what we call it is home training. None. Now, Mom, I know maybe you are disappointed with these people. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe they haven't treated you the way you think they should have treated you and your daughter. However, when your daughter stands and speaks to an older woman like she does, and you don't correct her,
Whew! If Tyanna thought she was getting out of that courtroom without Judge Lake serving her a reality check, she's dead wrong. All that hurt she's been harboring towards her dad and grandma, yeah, she's flipped it straight into hate. No wonder she's in the courtroom acting bitter and all over the place. She's drowning in those emotions.
Mr. Bell, you are not.
I knew it!
Thank you! Thank you! I knew it! I knew it! I told you! He's a liar! No good liar!
And I know who the daddy is.
I told you!
You stood here in this courtroom through this entire testimony and maintained that this man was crazy to doubt this young woman. Do you understand when you speak with that type of certainty?
Mr. Harrison is not here to play. He is suing Ms. Grant for paternity fraud. He's claiming he's not their daughter's real father and that she totally played him into believing he was. Yikes! That's a serious accusation. But let's buckle up and see how this drama unfolds.
Harrison, explain, why are you suing for fraud?
Well, Your Honor, I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter, and I've done everything for her since the day she's been born. I've had several people come to me through Facebook and through text messaging on my phone.
All right, Ms. Grant gets a point for that one. She's absolutely right, Mr. Harrison. That's what happens when you make a baby with someone else. You share those genes. So it's pretty unrealistic to expect the kid to look exactly like you. Come on, Mr. Harrison, get with the program.
She got upset and she said, I just don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore.
I didn't want to have to keep lying to him, Your Honor. I got tired of, being dishonest and being disrespectful in my relationship. And I gave him every option to, decide what he wanted to do.
Wait, so Ms. Grant's been cheating the whole time they were together? That's wild. She finally came clean just because she was sick of dragging him along and dealing with all that frustration. Wow, what a piece of work.
Help me move the washer turns into, I just don't want to do this.
It turns into him getting frustrated and fussing and cursing. And I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore with you.
It makes sense. It's crazy how all that built-up frustration in their relationship made even a simple task blow up into a huge issue. Who knew that bringing in the washer would be the final straw for both of them? That really led to the end of their relationship.
This person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills, okay?
All right, Ms. Grant, what a friend you've got there. Cars and all, huh? It's nice that this person stepped in and filled the gaps that other men couldn't. But let's be real, it's still pretty messed up that she kept this secret from her husband for all those years.
Was this strictly platonic or was this a sexual relationship?
At times it was sexual, but for the most part, it was platonic while I was with Mr. Harrison.
But this whole
and
time,
how
she
did
would sit there and go run off.
How did you manage to do this for 15 years, but 8 years while you were with Mr. Harrison?
This woman just confessed that it wasn't just a casual, platonic friendship. Can you believe that? So for all those 15 years, she was juggling 2 relationships, sometimes even at the same time. It seems like she's finally ready to take responsibility for the lies she told and the truth she tried to hide. That response was wild. What a real liar.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single
Don't sit
one
there
of
and
them.
act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying
He
that.
cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats. They call them ring rats for a reason, Your Honor.
Okay.
Whoa, so he cheated as well. This is getting juicy. A ring rat, huh? Looks like Ms. Grant is racking up another point. It's starting to feel like these two showed up in court just to unload all their marital issues on Judge Lake from the get-go.
So do you also admit, Ms. Grant, to basically defrauding him, basically saying this is your child when you knew for certain that it was not his child? Did you?
All right then. So that's what he's suing her for. Ms. Grant admits she might have twisted the truth at key moments in their relationship, but there's one thing she won't accept: the idea that she lied about their daughter's paternity. She insists she never did that.
I have people right now telling me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for even being here to prove to this man who I am in love with at this very moment, even though he is accusing me of not knowing who the father of my child is, that I ought to be ashamed of myself wanting to come in front of you and prove to him and the rest of the world that yes, I've done wrong, but I'm willing to admit that and I'm willing to right those wrongs.
Ms. Grant is completely losing it in the courtroom. She knows she's lied to him before and admits it, but paternity fraud? Oh, no way. She's not accepting that accusation. It's starting to feel like there's nothing more to discuss with Mr. Harrison. If your husband doesn't trust a single word you say after 8 years of marriage, that speaks volumes.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
How do you feel, Ms. Grant?
I feel vindicated, Your Honor. Absolutely. I may have lied about my affair, but I know who the father of my child is.